Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Coaching Think Talk. I am Coach Marife Garfin from Life Coach Philippines, and this is Coaching for Overcoming. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. This is a coaching conversation for individuals, especially mothers, who are facing challenges in life of all forms that is threatening their mental health, but are desiring to overcome and become the best version of themselves. And my mission is to help every mother of every home to take a stand in mental health for her and her children. Now, I am also a Master Builder Apprentice of Master Coach A's Master Builder Apprenticeship Program, and we build a tribe as we help your unstoppable dream come true. I am also a scholar to Master Coach's Six Steps to Six-Figure Public Speaking Career Training. So, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat by background. If you're not familiar with me, I am a nurse by background, a registered nurse with 22 years of hospital work experience. And I am a mother, I am a wife, and I am an entrepreneur. So I am the owner of Health and Wellness Coaching Center here in Tacloban City, and the center aims to facilitate overcoming of all challenges starting from weight loss and fitness and to gaining clarity of the future through self-discovery and also mental health issues. Okay. So this is a wonderful afternoon to each and everyone. No, thank you for joining me live today, and please leave your digital footprint by letting us know where you're coming from today. Please do tag a friend and circulate this video to help reach out to more individuals who might be helped in the sharing what I'll be sharing this afternoon and in this session. You may also give some shout outs. Mag-shout out po tayo to people who wants to greet, whom you want to greet, and reach out with some inspiring messages. If you are watching this on a replay, do please comment hashtag replay. I am streaming via FB page of Life Coach Philippines and YouTube channel Coach AI Connect. If you are new to our platform, please like, follow, and subscribe. So it's a very wonderful hapon po ngayon dito sa Tacloban City. It just rained. Uh, umulan po kanina ng malakas, but it's now a little shiny. It's a little bit shining now. So it's a wonderful way to start our session this afternoon. Okay. So this afternoon, I'll be sharing to you overcoming, okay, denial. And this is centering on when mom is in denial. So let me introduce first, no? I am the founder also and creator of my nth attempt in motherhood. This is a coaching community for mothers who desire to be empowered to take a stand in mental health for her and her children. So if you wanna join this coaching community, do message me, do PM me, or connect with anyone in Life Coach Philippines so that they can direct you to me. So, magandang hapon ulit. Okay, so first question before we go into our discussion is, what was your biggest denial? Ano yung ano na yung isang bagay na dininay ninyo? And how did it turn out for you? So, anong nangyari doon sa pagdi-deny ninyo? So, before I go on further, now let me greet my fellow coaches in Life Coach Philippines who are joining me. Coach Nordelin Dacos Cales from Benguet. So, nandito siya sa atin ngayon. We're joined by, and of course, Coach Tindy Hoya from Pasig. Okay, from Pasig City. So, thank you for joining me. So, what was your biggest denial and how did it turn out for you? Anong nangyari doon sa pagdi-deny nyo? So, I don't actually know what your denial is. You don't need to share it. You can, of course, you're wanting to, you can write in the chat, no, in the comments. But it is also for you. Okay, I just want to bring you back to you and what. So that's why that's the question. What was your biggest denial and how did it turn out for you? Shout out also to Ann Caber, Coach Ann Caber. She's joining me. So from Tacloban City. So thank you for joining me, Coach Ann. Okay. Now this session or this sharing is inspired by a story that I read. Okay, of a mom who was called by the guidance counselor to the emergency room of a certain hospital, and the mom rushed into the hospital and saw his son with some bleeding in the leg. Okay, but looking, and then the guidance counselor of the school went to ask her to be on the side, and they kind of talked. And the guidance counselor explained and informed the mom that this is not a one-time event. This has happened before, and the cause of why the child was in the emergency room because he did some cutting. He did some cutting on his leg. Okay, so this is what you call self-harming. Okay, self-harming. So there were cuts, and the mothers and the guidance counselor said, we need to help your son. We need to be able to bring him to someone who will be able to help him. But the mom said, no, he's gonna be fine. And if you look into my son's schedule, there's full of practices, choir, soccer, and everything. And so the mom said, no, we're gonna be going home. Um, it's just a small thing. So the mom said that. But the guidance counselor was a bit alarmed and had to explain to the mom of the reality that they are looking at, that the son was doing some self-harming. And the guidance counselor told the mother that your child have expressed that he has been experiencing depression. So it was quite a shock to the mom. He cried so much that at the end, after all the many things that she has said, eventually she decided to seek help for her child. Okay, so denial is something that can happen to anyone. So I would like to be sharing to you regarding denial, okay, and how we're going to be able to uh, overcome denial. Okay, so denial, if you look at the picture, when you are trying to hide, if you look at the picture, the man is trying to hide his head and bury it in the sand. Not for what reason? So not to be able to see what is going on around him. Okay? But denial is defined as a coping mechanism that gives you time to adjust to a distressing situations. But staying in denial, okay, when there's too much, when you're always there, no, you're really not getting up from denial. It can interfere with treatment or your ability to tackle challenges. When you're too much into the on the when you're too much into the denial, okay, when you're too much into the denial, you are interfering basically with the treatment or the help that is necessary for you to have. If you are in denial, you're trying to protect yourself by refusing to accept the truth about something that's happening in your life. So this is from Mayo Clinic staff. So sinulat po nila ito. This is how they have defined denial. Okay? So what can trigger denial? Ano nga ba? What are the situation or scenario that will trigger someone to say, no, it's not happening to me? Okay? So what can trigger denial? One is anything that makes you feel vulnerable or threatens your sense of self-control. Okay? Anything that will really lead people to looking in you, finding about you, that's being vulnerable, okay? Or threatens your sense when you feel like it's out of control. What are these? Such as illness. Okay, so when you talk about illness, it would show that you're not capable at this time, you're sick, you're not able to handle yourself. Okay, and definitely it is not within your control. Okay, next, addiction. Addiction can trigger denial when someone in the family or you are in addiction, you won't want other people to know about it. Okay. Next, eating disorder. There are a lot of stories of, if you're familiar with Karen Carpenter, her story of anorexia, wherein she would eat a bit and then would go to the comfort room, to the restroom, to the toilet, and spit out food. Okay? Ini-spit niya yung pagkain of, for her not to get fat. So yun yung nasa kanya. Okay, so eating disorder. Next, personal violence, like you were abused. Okay, so it's something that you would want other people. You have the victim mentality. You don't want to be treated. You don't want sympathy on you. So you don't want people to know about violence, personal that you've experienced in violence. So you deny it. Next is financial problem or relationship problem. So what you have projected in social media, what have you have projected in a community, you don't want other people to hear or to learn that you are kind of in a financial trouble or a problem, no? Because it shows like you don't want to be pitied, okay? Or any relationship conflict. Ayaw mo nun, nakakahiya that you failed and you were not able to make it, okay? So yun yung mga bagay na ayaw natin, we want so much to deny. So you are in denial when you won't acknowledge a difficult situation. Ayaw mo talagang like, wala naman, I'm okay. You just keep saying, I'm okay. So you are actually in denial. Next, when you're trying not to face the fact of a problem. So hindi mo gustong tanggapin that it happened. Okay? There are times, some people would like to fix it. Even if it's done. They'd like to do something like really, beat other people to make things better because they're denying of the problem. Next is you downplay possible consequences of the issue. Wala lang naman yun. Konti lang naman yun. I'm not affected. So those are the things that we're trying to deny ourselves. Hello, Coach Shan. Thank you for joining. And Coach Blazy, thank you for joining me. So you downplay possible consequences of the issue. So those are scenario. Another thing is you are in denial when you rationalize the problem. When you say, ano lang naman yan, the reason kasi ganito, you give a lot of reasons for the problem that is happening or has happened. Next, you blame others. You said, kasi ganyan, kasi this happened because of this person. This person is neglectful. This person did it to me. That's why I was able to do this. So you are in a denial when you start blaming other people. Next, when you compare circumstances to others. This happened because this happened to me because I'm like this. It did not happen to other people because ano naman sila may pera naman sila. They're educated naman. Ako naman hindi. So you compare your circumstances to other people. Okay? Next is pretending to be compliant. So when somebody says, you do this, okay, pero hindi mo naman ginagawa. Or you say, you try to do, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. O meron naman ako mga ginagawa. So you try to pretend so that other people will not see that you're really having some trouble. So that's a form of denial. Next is suppressing thoughts or emotion about the problem. Ayaw mong ipakita na nasaktan ka. Ayaw mong ipakita na umiyak ka. Yeah? You try to pretend that nothing happened, that I'm still strong. I can make this. So those are signs that you are in a denial. So can you think of a situation in your life where you were able to do any of these forms of denial? So meron ba kayong naisip? Okay? Now, of course, feeling of hopelessness. Like wala na akong magagawa. There's that feeling na like you can't do anything about it. So you just deny it. So there's a feeling of hopelessness. So usually in terms when you talk about denial, you would always say it's some pointing fingers to others. It's not me, it's you. So it's always like, may kasalanan yung iba, pero ako wala. Okay, so that's denial. Okay, so what are the other types of denial? Una is denial of denial. Okay, So ito talaga haring-hari na ito, denial of denial. The denial of the unpleasant fact and the insistence that one is not experiencing denial. Have you ever, di ba, have you ever experienced that na sinabi ng kaibigan mo, ay, ito, sorry, I mean, it happened pala. Hindi naman, okay lang. Don't deny it. You're able, no, I'm not denying anything. So, that's denial of denial. So, dinideny mo na nagdi-deny ka. So, that's another type of denial. Next is the denial of cycle. Denial of cycle, the inability to acknowledge what is happening. Hindi mo talaga ina-accept. It is not happening. We're okay. I'm moving on. Mga ganon. Okay, yun ang mga drama natin, denial of cycle. Okay? And the third is denial of responsibility. The failure to recognize a person's culpability in an unpleasant event caused by that person. So, hindi mo talaga, you're trying to deny that, you acted that way because it was caused by this man. Okay? So, denial of responsibility. The failure to recognize a person's culpability in an unpleasant event, okay, caused by the person. Hindi naman niya ginawa yun, okay? So that's denial of responsibility. So may mga naalala ba kayo na mga situation that you went into denial of cycle, or denial of responsibility? Okay? So it's always not me, it's not me. Okay? So denying the truth, this is one fact, no? Denying the truth doesn't change the facts. So even if hindi mo siya i-accept, the fact is fact. Nangyari po siya. So that is what we are trying to explain here, no? When you deny something, it doesn't mean it's not the truth. It exists. You simply are saying it's not the truth, or it's not existing. Okay? So what are the facts now? I shared to you a story this earlier, no, of a mom denying that the son has a problem. So nagkakat, they're self-cutting na, self-harming. Okay? But here is the facts, no? Here are some facts that is related to that story and related to our discussion of denial. The fact is nearly half of the parents are in denial about their child's mental health. Okay? Most don't talk about anxiety or depression because they don't think it's an issue. Okay? They don't think it's an issue. So nobody would want to talk about it. Okay? Next is, this is from this facts that I'm sharing with you came from Kate Pickles for Mail Online. So this is a survey actually that has been conducted, and it has found out that half of the parents are in denial about the child's mental health, and they don't want to talk about anxiety or depression because they don't think it's an issue. So those are the facts. Next, in a poll of 1,100 parents, about 55% had never spoken about the subject. So they didn't talk about anxiety in the family, or depression in the family, or any mental issues in the family. This is by market research company called Opinion Matters. So ito yung mga lumabas doon sa kanilang poll or survey. No? Hello, Coach Candy. Thank you for joining me. And 1 in 10 young people will experience mental health problems. So it's there. It's really there. So it has never, if you go back into history and if you look into the history of mental health, this has never stopped, nor it did not went down. It's continuously increasing over the years. So these are facts. Another fact is that experts say children are under more stress. Yung mga bata are under more stress from social media and exams. Okay? So imagine a child, okay, who is in social media, nakikita niya yung ibang mga kaklase at sabi lang ng ibang mga kaklase niya. And then here comes the parents or the mom would say, you need this to have this grade. Dapat mag-study because you need to become an honor student. So imagine relate that to what the experts are saying, that they are more stressed from social media and exams. So ngayon, di ba, nandito na tayo sa modules. So we're pushing, we're asking our child to be answering all the modules because there's a deadline. Okay, so mag-exam na. I think this week is the examination period for the children. Okay, hi Coach APTB. Thank you for joining me. So these are facts. Okay, these are facts. Next, adolescent depression is a serious problem uh, affecting affecting 10.7% of all teens, and 29.9% are high school students. So these are the facts that you and I can decide, and especially for mothers in their homes who are listening to me right now, these are facts that you can either face squarely or deny. Okay? 17% of high school students contemplated suicide. Okay? So we know that depression starts from a small scale and it escalates over the years, and the ending point, if not arrested, to escalate is suicide. And it saddens my heart this morning when I heard from a client of mine that someone she knew committed suicide at an early age. So it's the fact. It's a fact. It's happening in the community. You see it in the news. And what are we as a society doing? Are we facing it? Are we doing something about it? Or we are shrugging our shoulder and we're saying it's not happening. So are we denying or are we facing squarely the facts? Okay. So 65% in a survey of a poll by Silver Hill in New Canada and in Silver Hill in New Canada, this is a place. No? 65% of the 3,100 parents are concerned that their teens are suffering. So there was a survey, I think it was from Yahoo that I've read, that this Silver Hill conducted a poll survey now of 3,100 parents. 65% of them are aware that their teens are suffering from anxiety and depression. But there was a disconnect. There was a disconnect because 18% from the teens or from the children were diagnosed formally with anxiety and depression, but only 9% of parents admitted that their kids are taking medication. So 9 lang yung nagme-medicate. So what about the others? What was happening? So you kind of see a picture of the denial that has been happening in our community, in our society. This is just an example. And you can look into your community right now in our country, in other countries if you want to. You can look up how much people are responding when we talk about depression and when we talk about anxiety or when we talk about mental health issues that has been happening in the family. Okay? So according to Dr. Aaron Krasner, everybody is in denial about depression and anxiety. And if you look at if you look at the numbers will clearly say that there is a denial going on. Now, let's look into the Philippines. Okay, ano yung numbers ng Philippines? Well, in the report of the Department of Health, the Philippines lack epidemiological data on depression among young adults. Wala daw tayo doon. About 1 in 10 Filipino young adults experience moderate to severe depression. So meron nang nakuha na nila ito 1 out of 10. So we are now looking only into young adults. Hindi pa po nasama dito yung adults. Okay? And even at the lower years of the teens. Hello, Coach Dominic. Thank you for joining me. Okay, and the prevalence of moderate to severe depression in Filipino young adults is higher among females than males. So, mas marami daw sa babae. This is our numbers. This is our stat. Now, this has less education, and the residents in urban areas and marital problems are significant predictors of moderate to severe depression. So pag kulang ng alam, and then you are in the city because there's a lot of stress that's going on in the city, mataas yung bills na babayaran, so the standard of living is mataas. Then you have marital problems. So these are significant predictors from this study that says it can cause moderate to severe depression. Moderate to severe depression is significantly associated with suicidal ideation. So meron siyang tendency po na pumasok doon sa suicide. Okay? So mental health is one of the biggest pandemic issue we will face this 2021. And there are a lot of studies going on that this will still escalate in the coming 2 to 3 years. So how are you as a mother in your own home preparing for such a pandemic on mental health? Okay, this is a report coming from Christine Rogers of CNN Philippines. So there are already things that many are looking into this one. But let me challenge the mom. How are you preparing for this one? Will you just say it's not going to happen to me, or you're going to stand up and say, I can do something about it? Okay? So in an article, How I Learned to Talk to My Filipino Mom About Mental Health, it says there, Filipinos are some of the most collectivistic people in the world. We just don't care about ourselves. We are family centered. And I believe you can connect with me or you can relate with me. Okay? We are family centered and our parents are a big part of our lives. Okay? Then while mental health carries a stigma or even shame, but for Filipinos, the shame is double. So if someone in the family has mental health problems, has depression, has anxiety, because we are a collectivistic people, we value so much our family, we are ashamed for ourselves, but it becomes double because we are ashamed that our families will be affected of what is happening with you. So double po yung shame when someone in the family has been identified to have mental health problems or has depression or anxiety. So getting approval, okay, for Filipino children, no, for us Filipinos, getting approval from our parents is important so that they understand us. Ganun tayo. Kailangan ma-approve para maintindihan. So that we are not bringing our family as shame. So the background of this story is the author was saying she was telling her mom, I'm having some problems, mom. I can't sleep. I have difficulty. I feel like I can't take it anymore. I'm so stressed out. I need a therapist. I need help. But the Filipino mom, okay, because this happened abroad, the Filipino mom says, you do not need a therapist. You can take this. You're a strong person. I was able. So the Filipino mom said, how, I was not in your place. I didn't have the money. I have to adjust to the culture here in this place because they are in a foreign land, no? So there are immigrants. But I made it. So you can make it too. So yun yung sinabi nung nan. So that's the background of this article. So that's the Filipino culture. So ayaw natin magsabi, ayaw natin malaman ng iba, even if it's happening to us because nakakahiya po sa aking pamilya. It's a double shame for our family. So mom needs to stand for their kids. So if you hear my story, we always go back to our parents. We need kind of an approval with them. Mom, I need a therapist. Mom, I need help. But you don't want to go because the mom says, okay ka lang, malulusutan mo din yan. You need to do these things. Ito yung gawin mo. Okay? But mom needs to stand for their kids na ganun yung pakiramdam ng anak nila. Okay? So, when you talk about depression, you need to get, if you're a mom, to stand for your kids, you need not to deny, but rather get educated. And here are the most common indicators of depression. Okay. When your child is feeling sadness and hopelessness for a long time, because it's normal for us to feel sad. There are times we feel hopeless. But when it is happening for a long, long period of time, then you need to consider looking into what's happening with your child. There is a low self-esteem. Nakikita mo naman yung potential ng anak mo. You know that your son can make it. But why is it that my child is having low self-esteem? There's sluggishness. Parang pagod na pagod. The child is dragging himself out of bed, dragging to school. Sa lahat ng activities, he's kind of napipilitan, dragging himself. Of course, when there's substance abuse, you need to consider that. Spending more time alone. Ayaw niyang mag-connect. Ayaw niyang makipag-usap sa iba. There's a decreased desire to do things. Gusto lang niyang nahihiga. Doesn't want to connect with people. There's constant physical ailment. Masakit ang ulo, masakit ang tiyan. Okay? Problems in school. Definitely when the grades goes down, something is happening. Talking about death or suicide. So ito, meron na siyang, ayoko na talagang mabuhay. I don't want. I'm disappointed with myself. I'm thinking already of killing myself. So these are things that because a lot of times moms will say, nako, ang arte mo naman, ang arte. That's not, mahirap na kami noon, you're doing well, better now. Okay? So, not caring about appearance. When you see that your child looks like ayaw nang maligo, ayaw mag-toothbrush, ayaw that, not really doing anything to make him or herself look better. Okay, because it's really part of human beings. No, na if there's you call it a preservation. You know, we have that innate characteristic in us that we need to preserve ourselves. That we need to look. Kahit naman hindi look good na magandang maganda, but you have that na you look good, you presentable. But when you start not combing your hair, start not brushing your teeth, not changing your clothes, just lying in bed and not doing anything, that's another sign. And running away from home. Ayaw mong umuwi. You just want to stay out, ayaw mong. And these are the signs that we need to look into for moms, so that you will learn how to help your kids. This is what we need to stand for. This is the time wherein you can no longer say, arte lang ng anak ko, tamad lang yung anak ko. Because that's a form of denial. And when mom denies, the home is at risk. Because the mom is at the forefront of taking care of the kids. So what you need to know if your child is depressed is, number one, you are not a failure. Because a lot of times we deny it because we feel like people will blame us because we are a failure. So if you look into some studies now, there is a gene. The gene plays a role into the development of depression, but it's only 30%, 70% can still be controlled. Okay? When there is a good connection and a good relationship and a good ecology in the house. But you need to remember that you are not a failure. So you do not need to deny, but need to face it up front, because your child needs you to stand for him or her. Mental illness is just like, you need to understand that mental illness is just like any medical illness. It can't always be prevented, but it can be treated. Hindi po siya katapusan ng mundo. Okay? So you need to understand, it's like diabetic, it's like hypertension, na may treatment po siya na kailangan i-take for maintenance. Okay? Next, it is critical to reflect on your own feelings so that they don't get in the way. So why are you denying? Ano ba ang pakiramdam mo? Bakit mo dinideny that it's happening? That there's some kind of a symptom na nakikita ko. Bakit hindi mo siya madala doon to confirm to a doctor to be clinically diagnosed? Or if the child tells you, I'm really having trouble, mom, I feel like I'm kind of depressed. Some mother would say, nag-arte ka lang dyan. So what is it in you? Ano yung binabangga sa iyo that you cannot tell your child na, sige, puntahan natin, tingnan natin what is happening. You have to look inside of you if you're a mom because your own feelings will get in the way of you helping your child. Fourth is recognize where you can be most helpful and leave the rest to the expert. Saan ka pwedeng makatulong sa anak? Saan ka pwedeng makatulong? Ano yung kailangan mong gawin para makatulong ka sa anak? Next is get educated. Train and learn to grow your heart. Because depression, anxiety, or any mental illness or health issues, just like any disease, did not come overnight. It is a slow process that is continuously escalating little by little. Kaya ngayon, nakita mo na ng symptoms. Okay? But it did not happen overnight. So you learn to grow yourself. You learn to train. You train, you learn, so that you will have that pool of energy and learning inside you. Your heart will grow, will expand to be more patient, so that you will be able to help your child. You need to understand what is happening. And if you don't understand, you look for people to help you. So next is find a support or a support group or a community wherein you can talk about it, where other people can help you out process your feeling and emotion, what's been happening with you. And for me, to be very honest with you, I went into life coach certification because I want to understand, I want to learn how I will be able to help my child. So for many of you, probably you don't know, two of my kids were clinically diagnosed. But we are now having entered the phase of healing. Little by little, it's not overnight. We're seeing some progress because I put and I took it upon myself to be an active, an active part in the healing process. Patience is a virtue. So hindi mo pwedeng i-push, okay, we have to meet where your child is so that he or she will feel that it is a safe space for them. So patience is a virtue, hindi nga po siya overnight. Then hold on to hope. Hold on to hope, never give up, because you are the lifeline. You bring the energy, you bring the hope. If you lose hope, who else will help your kid? It is you. Ikaw po yun. And mothers, there's a very straightforward sharing that I'm telling you that you are the biggest puzzle in all of this. Ikaw po talaga yung foundation. You will be the one to put this because that is your child. Don't expect other people to begin it. Because mental health begins at home. It is you who will have to start the first step and the rest will follow. Hold on to hope, never lose your hope. And to the hope giver. To the hope giver. Because hope can only comes from him. Okay? So God is the only one who can make the valley of trouble a door of hope. And that is in Hosea 2:15. Siya lang po yung makakapagbukas to. And you need to hold on to Him. And then, pray. You will pray to Him and He will hear you and you fulfill your solid promises. My being a life coach did not come as an easy process. I did not come to that situation because it's suddenly like nahulog lang siya. Nope. It comes from weeks and months of crying out loud to God. And He opened the door of hope to me when I heard about life coaching and what possibility can the process help me so that I can be stronger and be empowered to take a stand for and in behalf of my kids. So it is very important that you are holding on to hope. When your child lost hope, you are there to say there is hope. Now, according to Ayn Rand, you can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. So when nakita mo na, you've seen it, there's my child is struggling in school, my child is, nakita mo na yung mga signs and symptoms, decide. If you want to avoid it, still the consequences of avoiding it will still run after. So mothers, you are super moms by God's design. You just have to make a choice of facing head on, stop the denial, make a choice to make a decision to use your power because you are created to overcome. You are a super mom with all the capabilities. You just have to stand and say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this because I am needed by my child. Thank you so much for joining me. So if you want to, you know, train, be empowered, coming from the experience, I have created this very important to me a coaching workshop of what matters. And this is understanding your kids. This is for every mom and dad. This is happening on May 15. The goal is to empower you, parents, especially moms, to empower you to really look into your child, saan ka makakatulong and how she's going. So this will tackle on understanding the uniqueness of your kids. We'll talk on generational gaps so you will know what's happening in the family, what's happening in the thoughts, bakit ganun siya mag-isip, bakit ganito ako mag-isip, and then we will talk about creating a home ecology that will help your child feel safe and grow as individuals thriving in his God-given design. So it is upon you to take a stand, to truly learn so that you can help your kids. So join me in What Matters, Understanding Your Kids, a coaching workshop on May 15 at 2 p.m. in Health and Wellness Coaching Center in Arellano Street. So contact me at 09957 398463. Registration is 2,500. You can connect with me, PM me. Let's do this, mom. Let's start standing for our kids. Let us stand for our family. Let us stand for the whole community. Let us take a stand as moms. Let us be empowered. Okay? So as I end this conversation, let me invite you to be part of what we are doing as an organization of professional certified life coaches. Do join us for another coaching conversation later with Coach Maureen for single living at 4 p.m. Okay, so do join us. We have this coaching Think Talk happens at 10, 2, and 4 p.m. And this afternoon it's Coach Maureen's turn. Okay, so connect with me. Ito po yung aking email din, narsmarife.mg@gmail.com or my number or my Facebook at narsmarife or Marife. Okay, so let me invite you so also to our B learning. So ngayong Sabado na, we're so excited. So this is part also of my empowering. I'm continuously learning and I'm excited for this B learning because Master Coach is going to be talking about mental models. Why do we think the way we do? Why do we act the way we do? So ito po yung magiging discussion. Ito po yung mga topics na ibibigay ni Master Coach in the B learning e-card. So ito po, if you become a foundational member, you get the card. You're entitled to a 5% discount in any purchase ninyo sa Decaf Coffee Republic. You will have also a mental model. Ito na yung sinasabi kong excited po ako. Masterclass is a masterclass by Master Coach A. And you get a 90-minute coaching session. This is only a subscription of 1,500 with no increases per month. But you get to have that empowerment, that training na sinasabi ko para maintindihan mo anong nangyayari sa brain. Because when you talk about mental health, when you talk about anxiety, when you talk about depression, when you talk about mental illness, it concerns the brain. So we need to truly understand. So do PM me, connect with me if you want to really experience and take part of this series of learning. Is going to be excited. And when it comes to really learning and teaching, you better experience how Master Coach A really teaches us. It's so amazing. So do come in. You will never come out of a class not understanding. So that's Master Coach A. So do join us in the B Learning. This is coming May 15 na po yung simula. So get your card, PM me if you're interested. And then let me invite you also to Master Coach A Co-Actively Co-Create Life Coach Certification Program. This is a comprehensive approach to learning and mastering life coaching as an active process of creating a new path to achieving results in life. So that success is inevitable in every coaching relationship. It includes a 21-day web learning, a 3-day live coaching boot camp. I think we have this May, hindi ko palang sure po kung anong date. And then a 3-day live business boot camp with senior coaching team. So do connect with Coach Rizal if you're interested to professionalize yourself, to become a life coach. Okay, so do come and connect with Coach Rizal to 0917-586-1661 to discover opportunities waiting for you in this profession. And if you have the same advocacy as me in mental health and especially in helping the community, because pandemic is causing a lot of mental health problem, learn the basic and the skill of how to help, okay, that you can do good than harm, become a life coach. So if you want my facilitation, connect with me so that I can connect you with Coach Rizal at 0995739846. Okay, so this is Coach, once again, this is Coach Marife Garfin from Life Coach Philippines for Coaching Think Talk. Coaches like us think and talk like this. This is us in the Philippines. Love, bomb, boom. Love, bomb, boom. Love, bomb, boom. God bless everyone. Have a wonderful day.